Okay, obviously this thing costs $500 and you have to pay monthly subscription fee to use their cloud services, which is kind of ridiculous, but I just love using this thing. What can I say?
Okay, I don't hate paper tablets, but all the ones I've used in the past, like Kindle Scribe and Remarkable Paper Pro, all had big screens like an iPad. And as much as I loved using them, they just felt a little too big for my taste, and I was never really able to integrate them into my everyday life without feeling like I was forcing it. So when I saw this little guy, Remarkable Paper Pro Move, I knew immediately that I wanted to try this out, but at $500, I mean, that's not a chump change. So I figured I'd try reaching out to Remarkable. I mean, I have nothing to lose. The worst thing they could say is no, but they were kind enough to actually send me a unit to test, so thank you, Remarkable. But I do want to clarify that this video is not sponsored. They had zero input in actually creating this video. So these are all my honest thoughts after using it for about a month. And I've always liked Remarkable as a brand because their build quality is similar to Apple's in my opinion, where they're premium and minimal. So combine that with the smaller form factor, like with the iPad mini or the iPhone mini, that combination's just a kryptonite for me. Okay, so I'm not kidding when I say I brought this thing with me everywhere. I brought it to cafes, a recording studio, and even a mall. Basically, wherever I had my backpack with me, this tablet was there. It has a 7.3-inch display, so the screen itself is barely bigger than the body of the iPhone 17 Pro, but the thicker bezels make it a bit wider and taller. Although I don't really mind the bezels, especially the bottom chin, since it gives me somewhere to rest my palm when writing. They also sent me this book folio, which costs $69, and along with this Marker Plus that has a built-in eraser at the top, and this costs $129, so yeah, this whole setup is gonna cost you closer to $600. Anyway, even with the folio and the pen, they barely add any weight, so it's like a perfect little package to carry around with me everywhere. I can even hold it with one hand as I'm writing on it. I can fit it on most tables, even with my laptop out, so it makes it a perfect pen and paper companion for notes or even sketching, which I'll get to more on later. Look at this, it's raining outside and I'm stuck in the car for the next 10 minutes. And the best thing about this Paper Pro Move is that it's so small that I can just carry it in my backpack like this. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of journaling while I have some time, and it's a perfect way to do it. I just love having this thing around. And the form factor is small enough where I can just hold it with one hand. So it's just very easy to just start writing without having to worry about it too much. I mean, if you look at my writing right now, it's obviously not the best. It's not as good as having like paper or this tablet on the table, stable and just writing on it. But you know, the fact that I can just hold it and start writing, it's so much more convenient. And yeah, you can see the handwriting gets a little messier when you're holding it, but honestly, that's the same with actual notebooks too. I mean, when you look at this thing though, it just screams premium with brushed aluminum sides with ridges, and a textured back, slightly grainy, almost like sandpaper for better grip overall. And my friend said it best when I asked him to hold this thing. He felt the back of the tablet and said, "I don't even know what this thing does, but it feels very premium." And yeah, I mean, even when I feel it, this feels really nice and kind of scratchy. I genuinely feel like if Apple were to make a paper tablet, this would be pretty dang close to what it would look like. It weighs about half a pound, which is similar to the iPhone 17 Pro, and to me, it feels like the perfect balance of not feeling too cheap, but also not too heavy for long periods of use and portability. If you're familiar with other tablets from Remarkable, you can basically expect the same features on the Paper Pro Move. And the thing I use the tablet mostly for is obviously journaling and taking notes. I mean, this tablet single-handedly helped me with getting back on journaling more often, and I used to write like 3 pages every morning on paper, but eventually stopped. I love the scratchy sound on this tablet when I'm writing, and there are a lot of different pen options you can choose from, so you can change it up from time to time. And the eraser on the back of the pen just feels natural, like using a pencil, which sounds simple, but makes a bigger difference than you'd expect. I think the only complaint is that it can feel a little small and crammed at times when writing for a while, but it was never bad enough that deterred me from writing. I personally love using sticky notes for my daily to-do list and just crossing it off when I'm done. So I tried replacing that with the Paper Pro Move and it just didn't really work the same. Half the point of sticky notes, at least for me, is that it's always staring at you and you don't have to turn anything on to be reminded. But it's pretty difficult to achieve that with any kind of paper tablet. One feature I did appreciate was the ability to select a section of notes with the pen to cut and paste onto a different page. So that helped with carrying over tasks that I didn't get done in the day into the next day's list. And I'm not an artist by any means, but this tablet had me drawing and sketching way more than I normally would, just because it was so easy and practical to use. I was at a cafe one time trying to sketch out ideas for my next thumbnail, and honestly, it was more convenient than carrying and pulling out my iPad. I never need a huge canvas anyway, and something about the texture just makes it feel like you're actually sketching something on paper. And this one has a color display like the regular Pro, so the sketches actually show up in color, which made it feel way closer to sketching with real markers. Just keep in mind the colors are more muted and natural looking, so it's not going to be iPad level vibrant, but honestly, for sketching and note-taking, kind of works in its favor. The tablet also has built-in front light, so you can adjust the brightness for using it in lower light or at night. It's not super bright, but you can turn on extra bright toggle if you're under harsh lighting. And speaking of reading, since it has a nice ink display with the front light, I naturally wanted to use it as an e-reader too. And look, technically you can read on it, no problem, but getting books onto the tablet was genuinely annoying. If you use Libby for your books like I do, you have to convert those files into the Paper Pro Move manually, and it's just something I never ended up bothering with. And if you use Kindle, there's no easy way to sync your books either. Now, the tablet does sync your notes and files across devices, which is genuinely useful, but here's the thing. That requires the Connect subscription. And I know it only costs $2.99 a month, which isn't a lot, but at the same time, I feel like it's more of the principle where people feel like if they're paying $500 for a tablet, they wouldn't have to pay for a monthly subscription to use their cloud services. And I think people are just sick of subscriptions. I mean, I know I am. But moving on, at least the battery's good.
Dude, the battery on this thing is crazy. It's still at 26, I don't know if you can see that, 26%. And I've had this thing, let me check, basically had it for about a month. Yeah, 75% over a month. No charging in between.
Realistically, I had a few gaps during the month when I didn't use the tablet much, so I think most people will comfortably get about 2 weeks. And for a device that I'm actually using and carrying around every day, not having to think about charging often is really convenient. If you were to ask me if I think the remarkable Paper Pro Move is worth your money, I would probably say it just depends entirely on who you are. If you're someone who already loves writing by hand, you journal, you sketch, and you've always wanted something more portable and practical, this thing is genuinely perfect for that. But if you're getting this tablet hoping that it'll replace your iPad, your sticky notes, or even your Kindle, it's just not gonna be the right tablet for you. I think this is the first paper tablet that actually stuck with me because I wasn't forcing it into my life. I just naturally started reaching for it, and that's probably the best thing I can say about any device. Yeah, the price is definitely hard to swallow, and I wish the subscription fee wasn't a thing for cloud services, but if you can get past those things, I genuinely haven't found anything else that's this fun to use every day. If you're interested in buying, check out the description box below, but that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye now.